Hi everyone, welcome to the first lecture of the book and the first lecture of our course, and today we are going to be talking about first declension. In Latin, a declension is any group of nouns that has the same endings, and so first declension is often called the A declension because most of the nouns in first declension end with an A. And so the first thing we're going to do is set up what we call the 5 cases, and as we talked about in class, we have 5 principal cases in Latin, and those cases are first nominative, and second genitive, and then dative, and then accusative, and finally ablative. So whenever we decline a noun, we're going to use these 5 cases to decline the noun, and then at the top of our chart we're going to indicate singular for singular and plural for plural. This is grammatically what we refer to as number. So if we ever refer to the number of a noun, we're determining whether it's singular or whether it's plural. So I'm going to put down the endings for first declension, and these are also in your textbook on page 7. But nominative singular ends in an A, which in Latin would be pronounced a. And genitive singular ends in AE, which in Latin would be pronounced I. This is a diphthong, which is 2 vowels put together to make the same sound. And there are several diphthongs in Latin. And the dative singular ending is again I, same as the genitive singular. The accusative singular ending is and finally the ablative singular ending is a, but this time with a long mark, which we refer to as a macron over the A. And that macron is actually very important because it will distinguish the ablative case from the nominative case. Okay, so that's the singular. In the plural, the nominative plural is I. So as you can see, we have 3 forms that are the same. Genitive singular, dative singular, and nominative plural are all I. And in order to determine the difference between those when we're translating things in Latin, we're going to go by context clues in the sentence, which we'll learn in future lectures. The genitive plural is aurum. The dative plural is is. The accusative plural is as. And the ablative plural is is. Okay, so these are the endings for first declension nouns. In the singular, a, I, a, and in the plural, I, arum, is, as, is. Now, in order to decline a noun, that means that we will give a particular noun with all of its endings attached to it. So, for instance, let us, for the sake of an example, use the noun puella. Okay, I'm going to give puella's vocabulary entry, which is puella, puellae, feminine, girl. And every noun that we've learned in our chapter, we learn it this way in the vocabulary. And what this is the nominative singular, the genitive singular, the gender, and of course the meaning of the noun. And so in order to decline a noun, we will take away the genitive singular ending. So we will take away the AE ending, and that will give us what is called the base of the noun. And so to decline the noun, you will then take the base of the noun plus the endings for the noun. So we have the endings here in our chart, and now I'm just going to take the base, which for puella is the letters P, U, E, L, L, because it's whatever the genitive singular is minus the genitive singular ending, which is this ending right here. Okay, so now I'm going to fill in the base. So our nominative singular is puella, and our genitive singular is puellae, and our dative singular is puellae. Our accusative singular is puellam, and our ablative singular is puella. And then in the plural, our nominative plural is puellae, our genitive plural puellarum, our dative plural puellis, accusative plural puellas, and ablative plural puellis. Okay, so that is how we decline a noun in Latin. So now let's go ahead and wipe the page, and we will set up a new chart, and let's practice with a random noun. Okay, so we have nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and ablative. And again, singular and plural for our number. And this time, let's use the noun weah. So I'll write the vocab entry up here. It's weah, weai, feminine, road. And so if I take the base of weah by taking away the genitive singular ending, then my base is just vi. So I'm going to write the base through the whole chart. Okay, and now I am going to take the base plus the endings, which gives me weah, and then genitive weai, then weai for dative, weam for accusative, and weah for ablative, and then in the plural, weai for nominative, wearum for genitive, weis for dative, weas for accusative, and weis for the dative. Now let's talk about how to translate each of these forms. So each case has a standard translation. So if we were just translating the nominative by itself, then that would mean the road. Or we could say a road, since Latin does not have any articles. So a, an, and the, those words you add in Latin. Okay, genitive generally means of. So we would say of the road. Although we can use an apostrophe for the genitive, and so I'll write another translation out here to the side. We can say the roads, apostrophe s. Okay, dative means to or for, so the dative would be to or for the road. Accusative has the same translation as the nominative. We use it for what's called the direct object, but the translation doesn't change. So accusative would just be the road. And ablative has many different translations. It's generally used with prepositional phrases. So in general, we could say by, with, or from the road. Those are sort of the standard translations. Sometimes you can say in or on, and we'll use examples with in and on later in the chapter. Okay, in the plural, the same translations for each case applies. We just change it to the plural. So the nominative plural I would be the roads, and the genitive plural would be of the roads. The dative plural would be to or for the roads. The accusative would be the roads. And the ablative would be, again, by, with, or from, or even in or on the roads. And also note that the genitive plural, instead of being of the roads, could be, I'll write this up here, the roads S apostrophe. So that is it for our first lecture, and thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.